Everybody hear me now. I'm gonna go ahead and make another Instagram post, see who else we can get on here. But y'all should be able to hear me now. Let me know if the audio is good. Drop some fire symbols if y'all are in the chat. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. You're gonna go ahead and make another Instagram post, see who else we can get on here. But y'all should be able to hear me now. Let me know if the audio is good. Drop some fire symbols if y'all are in the chat. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. You're gonna go ahead and make another Instagram post, see who else we can get on here. But y'all should be able to hear me now. Let me know if the audio is good. Drop some fire symbols if y'all are in the chat. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. Instagram post, see who else we can get on here. Now, sorry about the double audio. Yo, what's up, Jason? Yeah, I should have just fixed that. Yeah, appreciate that. So yeah, now that everything's good, I'm gonna give everybody about 3 to 5 more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But I'm gonna be walking you through how you can build an online business with Amazon, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I myself built a online six-figure business within the first 10 months, as well as how I replicate this system with all of my students. Is it good now? I want to say it should be good now, but just let me know what y'all are seeing. Six ten. We'll go ahead and get started. If anybody has any questions until we get started, feel free to ask. I'm excited to get this thing going. It is my first live online webinar. For anybody here that does not know, I have already thrown 2 live masterminds that were in person. One in Louisiana, which is where I'm from. The other one was in New York City, and that was a blast.
Let's give you one somewhere to sit. I've had my desk off.
Bet. Um, 6:10. I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. As people join in, feel free to drop any comments, any questions that y'all may have. What I'm here to do is provide you guys with as much free value as I possibly can about this business. This business is very lucrative. It's something that you can quite literally learn and start making more than your 9 to 5 job that you are currently at right now within 30 days. I have students that are doing it right now, as well as myself. So I decided that it would have been a great idea to come on here, do a live stream where I can walk anyone and everyone who decides to join on the exact steps that it takes to first get the business started, and then obviously how to actually run it and then scale it and then pass that 10K a month spot. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get started into the next slide here. As you can see, this is how to build a 10K month Amazon business in 30 days without any guesswork or huge upfront costs. And what I'm about to walk y'all through, like I said, is the same exact system that I used to go from waiting tables and bussing at a restaurant to doing over $500,000 in sales on Amazon within 1 year. Keep that in mind. So coming into the next slide here, firstly, before we do get a little deep, I want to state that this is for whoever wants to escape the 9 to 5 grind and make money online, which at the end of the day, everybody says that, right? But you have to be serious about committing to a strategy that is going to grow your monthly revenue and grow your pockets, not just take your time away and you putting in hours for, putting in hours, clocking in, and then making someone else more rich than yourself. I personally would rather spend 16 hours a day on my business than go work half of that time for somebody else to make them more money than I'm going to be making myself. So yeah, if you're willing to lock in and put at least 1 to 3 hours a day into learning and actually running this business, and if you're looking for someone to actually hold your hand along the way and guarantee you success within this business, this live webinar is for you. Now, I also want to talk about who this is not for. This live webinar is not for someone who is not capable of being consistent, or at least trying to be consistent. If you're not willing to commit those hours per day, per week, whatever it is, towards scaling the business, if you're not willing to learn and be coachable, if you're expecting to get rich quick, this is not a money scheme. I want to make that clear. This is not a get rich quick scheme. If you're okay with staying stagnant in your current position with your Amazon business, if you're already in business, or just your life in general, if you have not started anything, then this is not for you. Now, let me go ahead and now that we're getting deeper, sorry, I just realized that my camera was blocking some of the words there. I'm going to go ahead and put it right in between these pictures. I'm going to have to kind of change it throughout. But this is a little bit about me and my story and how I just got started in general. So, I am an ex athlete. I played soccer for 17 years out of the 20 years that I've been alive. And I went from that into being a six-figure Amazon seller. I failed a lot of side hustles beforehand. I was trying to do a little clothing brand where I create my own designs, post them on Etsy, and then I would actually print them myself with like a little thermal transfer label, and that didn't, go extremely well. I was also interested in like the drop shipping or the day trading. Tried those things, bought into courses, and it never worked for me. Um, and as soon as I graduated high school, I had moved over to Texas, and that's when I found Amazon reselling because I wasn't doing much with my time, and through all of these other side hustles that I was trying, none of them were actually being, none of them were actually successful for me. So I was kind of also in the stage of like trying to find that next thing that was going to work for me. Um, and, you know, obviously when you graduate high school, a lot of people are going to college, whether it's to play sports, or just get a degree in general, or maybe you're going to college because your parents are making you. Um, and that's not what I wanted to do in my life. I knew going to college and going into major debt just to learn something that I could learn on the outside if I put enough time in, and not just pay for that certificate, then I would 100%, you know, I was like, I had to drop out. So I knew that I didn't want to work for anybody else as well. I hated, like, truth be told, I hated being told what to do. Still don't necessarily like being told what to do today. Um, so when I found Amazon reselling, which by the way, I was just scrolling on Instagram, I found a mentor. He was able to teach me everything that I know about Amazon. And that's when, I decided to go all in. I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money, and I did put countless hours into like those other side hustles that didn't give me any of the results that Amazon was giving me. So when I finally made that breakthrough with Amazon, everybody was beginning to obviously ask me how, and I began documenting my journey, obviously on social media. If you are not following me, you could follow me at the real KD on just about any social. Um, and I knew I had to create the AZR University team, and that's realistically what this is all about, which we will get a little bit deeper into later. Now, in the meantime, while we're going over to this next slide, whoever is in here, please go ahead and drop some comments, drop some fire emojis. Let me know if you have any questions so far. If not, I'm going to go ahead and continue. Let me see, go ahead and get my camera placed right. Okay, cool. So to go into this next tab, I'm going to be debunking false truths about Amazon because a lot of people that don't know much about Amazon reselling, they have these stagnants or what's that word? The stigmats are these things that they think about the business that is just overall not true. One, you do not need to be a marketing genius or spend thousands of dollars on advertisements to have a successful online business, which a lot of the time when you're looking at the drop shipping or the Shopify or anything like that, starting your own brand, you have to know something about marketing or you have to know what you're doing with advertisements. Um, and this business is great because you don't have to do any of that. You're one, selling on the largest e-commerce place in the world, and they are doing over $1.7 billion every single day. So that in itself, for example, I still buy from Amazon myself. You probably have bought from Amazon in the last 14 days. Um, and that just goes to show how many people really know about Amazon. On top of that, we're not selling products that are our products. Like I said, we're not starting our own brand. We're selling products that are already in demand and already branded and have that proof of concept behind their marketing strategies. And just throw out a couple examples: Nike, Adidas, Fiji Water, Dove, Red Bull. Those type of brands are the brands that we're selling. And then on top of that, to go a little bit deeper, most people are not lasting once they figure out how to do the business model because, like I said earlier, they can't stay consistent. They're afraid of failure in general, which failure in life and in business is only going to turn into lessons. They turn into lessons that you then grow from, and get better. And you decide you learn how to make better decisions within your business. Um, and then they're also afraid of risk, which, like I said here, you that won't take you anywhere in life or in business in general. Um, and then again, not sticking to the basics or doubling down on what already works. So if I know something works, why would I not go put double my time or double my money into it rather than waiting for, something else to happen or trying something else when I know this works, but this may not work, and then I'm just wasting more of that time if that's kind of making sense. I'm going to take all of my money, all of my time, and I'm going to dive it into what I already know is working. And that just comes with, good mindset, personal growth, continuing to, you know, put the efforts and think logically behind the decisions that you're making in your business. Now I'm going to go ahead and come into the next slide. Uh, to come off of that, I'm literally going to show you exactly how to do everything that we just talked about. One, to get around that, and then also how to start this business from scratch if you have not dove in already. If you have tried and you have failed, which some of you may, or you're already selling and you're struggling to get to that 10, 20K mark, I promise you we will scale you. And we'll teach you how to effectively use specific softwares like SellerAmp and Keepa, which I'll dive into a little bit later, which basically you're just going to be using to analyze and source winning products, which I know you can't see that, so let me put that there. There we go. Um, And then on top of that, I also have business funders who can get you approved for 50 to $100,000 in business funding, which I cannot stress enough that 50 to $100,000 in business credit or business funding, whatever type of line of credit it is, you will be able to put into products and get a quicker return on your credit line via profit than you would just, leaving your money in the bank. So it's a win-win situation whether you have a lot of capital already to your name or you have good credit to where you can get that good business funding. And then we'll also teach you specific strategies to grow your profit margins via discounts when you're buying products, repricing strategies to maintain consistent sales, and then negotiation to lower those prices as well, which kind of goes into the discounts that I was talking about. Now, if you have any questions so far, please drop any questions that you have in the chat. I will answer along the way. I'll also have an open Q&A here at the end. Go into the next slide. All right, now let me outline this entire process from A to Z, which is exactly what I did for myself. And like I said earlier, exactly what I did for all of my students to accomplish the same exact results that I'm getting, they're getting, my partners are getting, so that you can start and scale your own online business if you haven't already. Work from your phone, computer at any location, which, if I'm being honest, has been one of the biggest pluses within this business is that I literally get to travel and work directly from my computer anywhere so that I go. And overall, you get to enjoy a true financially free life. Um, and at the end of the day, I think that's what everybody is looking to do when it comes to this whole online money scene. They see everybody living a lavish life or traveling to all the places that you want to travel to. And at the end of the day, it really just comes with time, consistency, efforts, and the right guidance. Because if you go into these businesses blindly, it's very hard to learn everything on your own with all of the different types of angles and information that they have out there. So yeah, if you have any questions about that so far, I'm going to go ahead and go into the next tab. Let me get all of them up. So first, the old way. We all know about the old way of doing online business, and that's drop shipping, right? Whether you're doing it via Amazon, which they used to allow, or whether you're doing it on Shopify, which is still around to this day. It's just very, very saturated, again, especially if you do not have the right guidance. Now, the new way of doing things is not a whole lot different, not a whole lot different, but we we all can sell products to millions of customers on the same platform, Amazon, without ever running ads, dealing with Alibaba, or branding our own product. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. We don't have to be a marketing genius. We don't have to run our own brand and spend thousands of dollars in test orders or manufacturers and all the extra BS that comes with running your own brand. Um, the new way of doing things is buying those products that are already in demand. And that's what we're gonna kind of get into here. But before we dive a little bit too deep into the actual product game themselves, I want to start breaking down the different Amazon business models that you can do within Amazon. And what I mean by that is just the different fulfillment methods. Um, so basically, let's see, got camera right here. So yeah, so the different fulfillment methods, FBA. That's what most of you probably already have heard about online, which is fulfilled by Amazon. This is where you're buying the products wholesale or via retail store, a local retail store, and then you're sending them over to Amazon's warehouse and they're handling all of the storage, shipping, and customer service from there. So every time that a customer is ordering from your store, they're going to pick, pack, and ship it to the customer's doorstep for you. And at that point, it's fairly automated. Now, when we come over to FBM, fulfilled by merchant, which that's actually a typo right there. That's supposed to say fulfilled by merchant. My bad. But this is where you list the products and you ship them yourself. So let's say I get an order from Los Angeles, California. I'm in Houston, Texas. It's going to come to my store. I'm going to ship that order, package it up myself, buy the shipping through Amazon, and then I'm going to bring it over to the post office and ship it to that customer's doorstep directly rather than having Amazon do it for me. Now, I will have a chart that we'll dive into a little bit later, actually explaining the fees between these two because they are not the same, and that's the main difference of you actually handling the product or not. Like it says down here, the key differences are the cost and fees, the scalability of the two fulfillment methods, and then obviously the time investment that you have to put behind handling the products via FBM or not via FBA. Now, to dive a little bit more into those products that I was talking about, this is how you are going to find profitable products. Now, keep in mind brand recognition. Just think about that as I talk. And while I'm talking, consider a product like Red Bull. Um, Red Bull already has a demand, right? You already know about Red Bull. I already know about Red Bull. And anybody else that goes and clicks on Amazon, they already know what Red Bull is when it pops up on their screen. Or people will quite literally search for it and buy it in cases on Amazon because they know that they can just get it shipped directly to their doorstep. And again, Red Bull is already a brand that's in demand. So therefore, if I come to you and offer you a Red Bull for $5, I don't have to do any marketing because you know what the Red Bull is going to do for you already, right? So that's the major key that we have to put into doing this Amazon business. We're not branding our own product or having to run any advertising or create any listings, do title SEO, description SEO, or keyword searches. We don't have to do anything like that. We just have to make sure that the products actually meet our profitability criteria as well as the sales velocity criteria in order for us to make good purchasing decisions to buy these products that are, again, already selling on Amazon, like Red Bull, Fiji, Takis, any brand that you can think of, Nike and Adidas, all of these brands, their products with established demand, which reduces the marketing hurdles on your side, and it builds immediate trust with your consumers. Like I was talking about, if I come to you with a Red Bull, you already know what the Red Bull is going to do for you. I don't have to explain you any of that. I just have to show you the product, and you're gonna buy it or not. So if you'll have any questions on that, I'm gonna go ahead and skim over the chat here. Let's see. I've got what's the biggest mistake beginners make when they first start? How do I avoid them since you've been there and done that? So I would say one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make when they start is what I like to call analysis paralysis or looking at a product too much. Because when you're sitting there and you're over analyzing second, third, fourth guessing yourself, quadruple guessing yourself, you're only going to lead into overthinking about it, being overwhelmed at all the data that you're looking at. And at the end of the day, you have to start getting a proof of concept with your own physical touch and your own view on the products. And what I mean by that is you have to start buying and testing products in order to actually see how your decision making was. Because in the beginning, you know, you can learn so much about what a product is supposed to look like, but until you actually start seeing it sell on your platform, you're not going to fully believe in what you're looking at if that is kind of coming together. Um, Now, this second question, what's the biggest challenge I faced? Any big mistakes you made along the way? Yeah, so I've definitely made some bad investments, as you can say, buying products that just weren't going to move as I expected them and didn't move as I was expecting them. Um, and realistically, I would say that's because I didn't have that one-on-one mentor or one-on-one guidance to just go and ask. I didn't have anybody to go ask questions to or whatnot. Like you can go ask questions to people on social media here and there, but I had no immediate guidance that was, pointing me in any type of direction. I was kind of given information and I had to choose what I wanted to do with that information, which is not the worst thing in the world because like I said, I was able to learn what I learned about the business that way. But not everybody learns the same. So if you have somebody one-on-one with you to show you every step of the way, it's going to be very easy to pass up those beginner mistakes and lose all that money with those bad purchases in the beginning, like I was talking about. Now, what's the diff? That's actually a perfect question. Coming into, the question that I just answered. What's the difference between AZR University and everybody else's mentorship? So, like I said, I originally joined a mentorship when I wanted to learn about Amazon. And a lot of these mentorships are course like. And what I mean by that is they have videos, they have documents, they have guides, and they have a group chat. But they have nobody getting on a one-on-one call with you, showing you exactly what you need to do on the computer, and showing you step by step everything that you need to do from starting your Amazon account to scaling to that $10,000, $20,000 month. And that's something that we stress and we value within AZR University is that we're going to get on the phone with you. We're going to get on a call with you, whether it's at midnight or 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to make that time. We're going to provide you that value that I wish once I had. And that is the entire point of AZR University. Now I'm going to go ahead and yeah, yeah, exactly. Got you having the one-on-one is going to um, help anybody. I mean, I probably would have found way more success in my first month rather than having to wait 3, 4 months to like learn the process on my own. So yeah, I'm gonna come into this next slide here, going deeper onto how to find those profitable products, but with more confidence, like I was just talking about. Now, to find these reliable suppliers, let me go ahead and move my camera into space again. Sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, so finding reliable suppliers for branded products can be very, very, very discouraging. I even still get it within my students. They get discouraged because they can't find anything. But what people have to understand is that this business is a business that you actually have to put time and effort into. Like I was talking about earlier, if you're not a consistent person that's willing to put time into the business, then this live webinar is not even for you. So now that got that out of the way, I want to dive into how you can actually take the step into finding those reliable suppliers. So you can go to wholesalecentral.com to find wholesalers, or you can go to your nearest retail stores like Target, Walmart, Costco Wholesale, Sam's Wholesale. Now, let me explain the differences between those two. So wholesalesellercentral.com is you're going to find a bunch of bulk distributors, manufacturers, and these are business to business sites where you can only be a wholesale trade, retail store, or online e commerce business to work with these wholesalers that will offer you that discounted wholesale price on branded products that are already partnered with them. Whereas if you go to your local retail stores, you get to you get to look at most of the time, obviously being it's a retail store, you're going to look at the biggest name branded products right off the bat. And with that comes different type of retail discounts like 40% off, 50% off, BOGOs. And when you are able to step into a store like that, you're not required to buy in bulk where you're supposed to when you're doing wholesale. So if I step into a store, I can go like I was talking about earlier when I was saying test products. I can go walk into a store, test 5 to 10 different units of a product, and see how it moves on Amazon. And then another plus that you can do with that when you're doing retail is if it doesn't sell, Target has a 30-day return, Walmart has a 90-day return, Costco has a 365-day return. So if your products are not selling, what I'm going to go do is return the product and recycle the money right back, and throw that into the next product. And that is an easier and lower barrier to entry than what wholesale is going to be. Now, Within both of these models, you need to be scanning every product that you come across with SellerAmp and Keepa. And these are two softwares that I use, which I have some screenshots of what the products should kind of look like. So when you're using SellerAmp and Keepa, it's literally going to give you all of the information that you need to know about the products that you're looking at. So if that's the case, if I'm looking at these softwares, it's providing me with the profitability, the sales velocity, the price fluctuation, and etc. The all of the external data points about the product. That's all I need to know in order to forecast a demand for the product. Sorry, let me go ahead and push this right to the middle. Here we go. So yeah, so if I'm looking at these data points, I'm buying data. That's what I'm doing. I'm not buying products, which quite literally you are buying products. But if I'm looking at SellerAmp and I'm looking at Keepa, I'm looking at my cost price, my sell price, the sales velocity, as well as the Keepa charts, which is going to tell you the actual forecast for the product. Um, that's going to tell me everything that I need to know in order to have confidence in my purchasing decision or not. And I tell a lot of people, they cannot get too emotional to these products because data is data and numbers are numbers. AI is now going to spit us these numbers that if it meets our criteria, we're going to purchase. And if it doesn't meet our criteria, we are not going to purchase and sell the product. And it's very straightforward. So, uh, as far as when it comes to finding those good products, it literally just comes with that time behind sourcing through everything that you can possibly get your hands on. Because not every product is going to be as green as the one that we're looking at on my screen, right? So you have to put that time and separate yourself from everybody else to actually find those good products. Now, does anybody have any questions about product research, how AI is tied into this product research, or products in general? Any questions? I am going to give like a minute or two for y'all to drop some questions. I'll be on the lookout, and then I'll go ahead and go on to this next tab. So, to be completely honest, AI more so helps us out on the actual software side, whereas it's not necessarily tied to like ChatGPT specifically, if that's kind of what you're asking, Ian. The question was, what are some inputs that you would use for ChatGPT or any AI that would help you out the most? What numbers you were looking for, and then we'll look for that in stores. So, yeah, I'm actually going to come back. No, I can't go back. Okay. But to dive a little bit deeper on that question, the first question, AI is integrated with the softwares that we use and it matches the products that we're looking at with Amazon's database, right? And when it does that, it matches all the prices up from the sale price, from the entirety that it's been on Amazon. So let's say that Red Bull that we were just looking at has been on Amazon for 3 years now. We have AI puts together a chart for us that we're able to look at, as well as all those numbers that we were just looking at. And what that's doing is basically telling us a story on how the product has moved on its entirety of being on Amazon from 3 years ago to today. And throughout that story, there are certain data points, like you're asking, which are profitability, ROI, sales velocity, best sales rank, which the best sales rank is just a rank that each Amazon product is given on the platform. So the lower the better. The number one best selling product is going to be number one. That's what I mean by lower the better. But as far as The inputs, there's not too many. We want to see consistency in sales outside of the ones that I just named, as well as a low competition. Um, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, we want to sell products that are going to move hundreds, thousands of times a month, and we want to sell products that are profitable. So outside of those two things, there are a couple different points. Like I said, low competition, consistency in sales, consistency in sale price, that we need to be looking for. But yeah, other than that, the data points are pretty straightforward. Now, you had another question, and then look for that in stores. So yeah, so just to touch on that before I go deeper, you can do one of two things. You can go into a store, you can pick up a product, and you can scan it. For example, let me grab this bag of Takis. You see that this bag of Takis has a barcode, right? So I'm gonna take the software that we use on the phone. I'm gonna scan it just like this, and it's going to pull up all the data that I was just looking at on the computer, that you guys saw. It would pull that up on my phone, and that's where I would be able to see everything in the store as far as the data points, to where before I leave that store, I know if I'm going to be purchasing the products or not. Now, if I'm doing it online, there is the online software, which is the same exact thing as your phone, but you're just going to be using it on your computer. And you do the same thing. You go onto the online website, you highlight the title, you put it in the software, and it's going to pull up that product and all of its history on Amazon. Now, yeah, absolutely, man. Any more questions that you have, feel free to answer. Now, coming into actually sending, what are you going to do with the products after you buy them? Um, right? You have to fulfill them, like we talked about in the beginning, FBA or FBM. So you're going to be either sending the products to Amazon via FBA, or you're going to be sending them directly to the customer every time you get an order via FBM. Now, as you can see right here under the title, I recommend that you use both fulfillment methods, FBA and FBM, to your advantage. Now, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what I mean by that, but a lot of people feel like they have to choose one or the other. And that is not the case at all. I myself, as well as all of my students, do both, and they use them to their advantage. And that is how you maximize. That's how you maximize your sales, your profits, and overall consistency within your business. Because, like we all know, this is a reselling business. Our business is thriving off of continuing to find good products, as well as continuing to sell those products at a high velocity consistently. And then to follow the last question that we were kind of just answering before I dive a little bit too deep into this, it's the question is, wouldn't a bunch of data be hard to read? Now, you would think that, right? And in the beginning, when I first looked at all the data, I was like, wow, I almost looked at it as like trading. This is going to take so long for me to learn. But like I said earlier, I didn't have that guidance that I now give to other people, which is the whole point. Um, and and no, realistically, there are specific points that you need to look at. Once you learn these points, you don't need to be over focusing on anything else. You hyper focus on these points, as far as, like I was talking about, profitability, ROI, consistency in sales, consistency in price, etc. If we put all of these things together and stay true to our criteria, stay strict to that criteria as far as not overlooking any other data, then we are going to find success within that product. Um, so yeah, so coming more into the fulfillment methods, I'm going to go over a little bit more FBA first, because that's probably what people are more familiar with. Now, to understand fulfilled by Amazon, this is going to be best for sellers that want to use this to be as automated as possible. So you want this business to be as hands-off as possible. FBA would be for you. Sellers that prioritize Prime eligibility. So when you're going to buy products on Amazon, most of the time you're looking for that little Prime badge, because you know that it's going to be sent to you within 1 to 2 days. Um, and then also overall, when you're dealing with small, lightweight, high demand products, those are going to be the best to send over to FBA. Now, as far as FBM, that's fulfilled by merchant. That's going to be best for sellers who want the full control over their inventory and shipping, as well as larger and bigger items or slower moving items that might have a large margin. So maybe it's not moving so fast, but because the margin is so big, it's worth at least selling 10 to 20 of them a month, something like that. That would be best FBM. And then seasonal products where you're not maintaining a bunch of inventory and that inventory is only going to be sitting with you temporarily because as soon as that seasonal rush ends, it's probably not going to continue selling. That's when it would be best for FBM because what you can do, like I talked about earlier, is you could go return that product to the retail stores within a timely manner if that's the route that you're going. Now, let me read over the chat a little bit. What does prime eligibility mean? So yeah, so Prime eligibility, like I said, when you go onto Amazon and you're searching for a product, most of the time you're looking for that little Prime badge. It's going to have a little check and it's literally going to say Prime over the product. And what that ensures you is that Amazon is sending you that product directly. Um, Now, what you may not know is no, that product might not be sold by Amazon. It might be sold by somebody like me, but it might be being sent through FBA, so therefore it has prime eligibility. The only time that you can have prime eligibility is if you're doing FBA or if you do seller fulfilled prime, which is FBM, but on like another level. And I'm just gonna let you know now, it takes sometimes 1 to 2 years to become seller fulfilled prime on FBM. So overall, prime eligibility comes from FBA. Do I start FBM or FBA or both? So to start FBM or FBA, I would say don't even focus on that. It's more about the product because once you find the product, you then decide the fulfillment method. Because, like I said earlier, you can take advantage of both. If we're looking at a small and lightweight product, I can send that to FBA and have a pretty good assurance that that product is going to be very profitable and the FBA fee is going to be very low because of the weight of the product and the size of the product. Now, if I'm selling something big, maybe it moves slower, but it's big and it's got a large margin, I'm going to sell that FBM because that's just going to be more profit, as well as I'm not going to take the time to send it over to FBA in bulk, wait 2 weeks for it to check in, and then sell it at a slow rate when I could have kept that inventory control amongst myself and made more profit. So yeah, there's kind of multiple different ways that you can go about it. Jimmy, I see. Let's see. Evan asked that. Jimmy, how do I get started with you? So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have the link dropped down into the description. You'll be able to click on that. You'll be able to apply with my team, and then my direct partner will reach out to you directly, and then he'll be able to get you started. I saw you just followed with another one. How would I have time to do this with a job? So realistically, it kind of depends. I would say you may have it depends on what job you're currently working, but I'll say this: I waited tables and I bust tables at a restaurant until I started or until I had Amazon outfunding that. I always recommend fund your business with your 9 to 5 until your business is outfunding your 9 to 5. um, and I worked a restaurant for about 10 months. The first 10 months of me doing Amazon, I was in a restaurant, working probably 36 to 40 hours within a pay period. And, that's a fairly average amount, I would say, for a 9 to 5 job. So for me to be able to do what I was doing with Amazon as well as do that, it's 100% doable to do it with any type of job. Like I said, if you have 1 to 3 hours a day, even if you just average that out over the day and you happen to spend 4 hours this day, 2 hours this day, you're going to see the results within the business. I promise you that. Now I'm going to go ahead and move into this next tab here. And this is going to be a comparison of FBA and FBM like I was talking about earlier. I'll run through it here in a second. If anybody has any questions on what any of this means, please ask. That's why it's up here. And yeah, so But yeah, if we don't have any questions specifically on this table, I'm gonna go ahead and run through it, um, just to give you guys a clearer understanding of the two different ones. But yeah, Jimmy, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that link for you in a second. Um, now for this table, okay, there we go. Sorry. So for this table, we have shipping and storage, which for FBA, Amazon is going to handle it like we talked about. With FBM, you're going to handle it. The prime eligibility, like you just asked, FBA, yes, you are eligible for prime when you send your products FBA. Now, if you do not send them FBA, and they're FBM, you are not eligible for prime unless you're seller fulfilled prime, which seller fulfilled prime um, comes from just experience and trust from Amazon, and they're not going to give you that right off the bat. For example, if some of you know who Whole Foods Market is, like their retail store, Whole Foods Market is one of the only sellers. They are a seller on Amazon as well. They're one of the only sellers on Amazon that's like seller fulfilled Prime. Um, so mainly that Prime eligibility is going to come from the FBA side. Now, best for scaling, FBA obviously for automated reasons. You're going to be hands off, which gives you more time to focus on getting more product and focus on the things that actually allows you to scale your business. And then FBM is a little bit harder to scale, being you are quite literally taking all of that time and putting it into handling your own inventory. So that's where I would say, like, if you have a 9 to 5 job, like you were asking earlier, Jimmy, and your time is somewhat limited that you will be able to spend on this business in the beginning, because I know for a fact that you will one day be able to outfund your 9 to 5 with this business. Um, you can do FBA. You can send all your products over to Amazon to where it's automated and you'll literally be watching your sales come through while you are working at your restaurant job, doubling up on that income that you're already making. Now, for the fees, the FBA fees get a little bit higher, and that's why sometimes FBM can be a little bit more profitable. But at the end of the day, that's why I always tell people you need to be using both methods to your advantage, because not everybody's business has the same amount of time to input. Not everybody has the same amount of criteria. Not everybody has the same goals. Um, so at the end of the day, you have to come up with all those solutions and then pick which fulfillment method that you want, or what fulfillment method is actually going to get you to your goals. Um, Now, customer service is kind of a big part in both of these, because when you're doing FBA, you actually don't have to take care of any of the customer service whatsoever. What I mean by that is if somebody wants to return an FBA product, that you will have no responsibility whatsoever over that product. If it got damaged in transit because of Amazon sending it over for you, then Amazon is going to take that responsibility. You will get your money and credited for that product. Whereas the FBM side, you're going to have to take a couple more steps into actually providing the right information and the proof that you did your fulfillment method the way that you said you did. Now, the inventory control. Amazon stores all of your inventory themselves in their warehouse. You are limited. Most of the time, you will not reach these capacities. They're just going to continue upping it as you send more and more into Amazon, and then it's limited control. Uh, because it's going over to Amazon's warehouse. But when you have it in your hands at FBM, you have full control over your Amazon inventory, and like I said earlier, that's where, it's a little bit less, or it's a little bit more time consuming, sorry, because you have to actually take control over all of that. Now, let's see. Evan said he's super excited to start. I'm extremely excited to get you started, Evan. If you have any more questions while you're on here, please feel free to ask. Um, Now, I do have one thing that I would like to announce before moving forward. Um, and that is that I was supposed to announce this at the beginning of the webinar and I completely forgot, which is my apologies. But for the people that are still on here, if you're still here, we are giving away $1,000 to three separate people. It'll be the first three people that actually decide to come in and work with my team and I. And that is going to help you scale your business because, who wouldn't take $1,000 and put that into their business to help them scale, right? So I just wanted to make that announcement really quickly because I did forget to announce that earlier. Now, scaling past that 10K month, because no, I'm not going to sit here and just get you to that 10K month because we all want to get to the 100K month, right? Now you need to, in order to scale past that 10K month and beyond, one, the main thing is reinvest your profits. You have to reinvest as much of your profits as possible. If you're in a situation where you do have to take money from time to time, a small percentage to pay certain bills off and whatnot. That is totally okay. That's why you're running this business, to make you more money, right? But if you want to scale as quick as possible, reinvesting all of your profits is only going to benefit you. Number two, you can scale by utilizing business credit. This was one of the biggest ways that I was able to scale because coming into my third and fourth month, I was able to get my hands on like my first 10K line for business credit. And that's when, I was like, okay, now I've got, mass capital to put behind products. It's go time. Number three, you have to stay on top of restocking and inventory management. If you're not staying on top of overstocking as well as managing your inventory and then expanding your product line, which is coming into number four, you're not going to see a lot of scalability, or more so consistency. Um, I want you to think of it as you're running your own physical retail store, or like I put here, a Walmart store. When you walk into a Walmart, you're not walking into a Walmart and seeing one product. You're going to walk down an aisle and you're going to see 50 to 100 different products that are different brands. And that's kind of the way that we have to look at it when we're doing Amazon, because I don't want to just sell one product that's only hot half of the time of the year, because then the other half of the year, then what? Right? I only have that one product that was only half at the first 6 months of the year. You need to expand your product line to keep the consistency of sales all year long. And that comes with just having a variety and a big diversification amongst your products, whether it's categories, brands, etc. And then number five, as we all know, in any business, delegate the task as you scale. Warehouse employees, if you're, upgrading to a warehouse, or you can use a prep center. You can send everything over to a warehouse that already takes care of products, which is something that we do. I send my products over to a prep center. They prep them for me, and then they send them to Amazon FBA for me. And what that allows me to do is never really see the product. So I have a lot of time to focus on actually sourcing the product, making sure that we're making good purchasing decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about for this is VAs, because a lot of people don't know that you can pay somebody through $2, $3, $4 an hour to work 40 hours a week for you. And before I go any deeper, I know that sounds bad, right? $3 to $4 an hour for 40 hours a week. That's like a full-time job. But these guys are living in the Philippines, or ladies, um, and they basically help us scale our Amazon business for super cheap, because it's obviously super low cost and super low expense on us. But number two, they live in a country where the currency that they're actually getting there is above the middle class. So they're living a good life because of us and the job that we're providing them. And they are also helping us scale our business for a super low price. So it is literally a win-win for both of us. And it's one of the biggest ways to scale within this Amazon business. So yeah, if you have any more questions about that specifically, feel free to ask. Let me go ahead and check out the chat right quick. Let's see. So yeah, if I see a bunch of people are ready to get started, if y'all are ready to get started, go ahead and click the link that's in the live chat. It's a Calendly link. You can schedule a booked one-on-one call with my partner. He's going to run you down on everything that you need to know about us. If you did not already get everything that you need to know about us within this webinar, and we're going to get you started. We're going to onboard you, and we will get you rolling with this Amazon business as soon as possible. Um, Let's see. Are you running FBM and FBA simultaneously? So yes. So FBA, I no longer see or touch the product at all. FBM, we still do, of course, handle the product ourselves. But like I said earlier, I always recommend using both fulfillment methods. In my opinion, it's only going to benefit you as a seller. Where do you find the VAs? So yeah, so there's multiple sites online that you can find them. A lot of people, like when you go look on YouTube, you're gonna see like Fiverr or something like that. But that's not. I don't teach my students to go on Fiverr because Fiverr, you're gonna find a bunch of scammers that are just on these product sourcing lead list where they're just copying and pasting and sending you these leads that are not really that good. But there's sites made specifically in the Philippines. So onlinejobs.ph, I think jobs.ph or ph jobs, you can go onto these sites and submit job applications, and people from the Philippines specifically are going to, submit applications to, your post, and you can interview them and then onboard them at any point that you would like. But the plus about this is what they have in the Philippines is like an entire education system around e-commerce. So most of these people that are applying to you, to work for you, are already kind of experienced, whether it's 2, 3, 4 years in doing this type of work. So realistically, obviously you want to make sure you find somebody that's willing to hustle and do well for you. But outside of that, you just give them your business's criteria and then they start rolling. They already know how to do their job. Um, so yeah, how long after will I make money? So I've actually got multiple students that are quite literally making ten to $20,000 right now as we speak, a month, and that could happen within your first 20 to 30 days. My partner that helps run this mentorship as a whole, who y'all will be getting on a call with if you decide to book. That's Reed, and he was like the first guy that kind of connected with and actually like taught how to do this business. And when I taught him how to do this business, his first 20 days, he did $32,000, which is not very likely for many people to do within this business. So when he did that, I was like, oh shit. Like, sorry, excuse my language. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on here. But I was like, wow, like this business is, that was what I did in my first 3 months was 32,000. So I was like, he did that in 20 days. I was like, okay, so like you can make money as soon as you want with this business. And what that also gave me the proof of concept with was I taught him. And within his first 20 days, he did 32,000. So I was like, okay, he did way better than I did getting taught from my mentor with me teaching him. So I was like, I need to replicate this with as many people as possible because obviously my blueprint, it works. So yeah. And then is there a website or maybe a WhatsApp? Yeah, I'll go ahead and we're going to send the let's see, I'm going to go ahead and send the form. Yeah. All right, cool. I should be sending that form here in a second. You can also go ahead and book a call with that link there, and then we'll go ahead and go over everything that you need to know as well. Yeah, exactly. Jason said $3 to $4 an hour. They're rich there, which is like 100% true, guys. Like they put it this way: these guys that are doing these jobs online, ladies as well. Sorry, I keep saying that. They they wouldn't be doing the job for $3 to $4 an hour if they weren't actually making money for their expenses. So so yeah, it's a really 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 good deal for businesses here that can lower their expenses when it comes to employees, which most of the time I know kind of starts to eat up most of business expenses. So what better does it get than that? Now, okay, let me come back. Sorry. You've probably been wondering, this question's been up here for a little minute. Have you ordered something from Amazon in the last 7 days? I can probably bet that 80, 90% of the people in this chat have ordered something in the last 7 days. If not the last 7 days, it's the last 14 days because I've ordered something like 3 days ago. And then 3 days before that, and then probably another 4 days before that. Amazon, I mean, we all know how many people are ordering from Amazon every single day. The business does $1.7 billion a day. That's no coincidence, right? So you have to think about it. As a seller, if they're doing $1.7 billion every single day, all I have to do is get a small chunk of that every single day, and eventually I'm going to be making billions. Um, and that's a lot of people look at that the wrong way. They think it's something that's going to get saturated, or I'm not going to sell because they already figured it out, and I'm not going to be able to go sell the products they're selling. But no, that's not the case whatsoever. What people don't know is that 70% of the revenue that goes through Amazon's marketplace is actually coming through third party sellers like myself. So that means more than 50% of the revenue is not even being generated by Amazon themselves as far as the products that are being sold. So therefore, the more sellers that they have, and I like to say real sellers because they're sellers that'll come in here, do for 3 months, and then stop. The real sellers that stick this out and continue to sell more product lines, expand their inventory, etc., we're only helping Amazon's case to continue to grow every single day. Logically, think about it. 70% of the people that are getting the sales through Amazon are third party resellers. So we need more people to sell on Amazon to all make more money. And like I said, we need real sellers. We don't need sellers that are coming for 2, 3 months, trying it out, it not working, and then them like falling off. Like, no, this is a business that if you stick to for a year, you're going to see the results. And we're also, like, to end that off, we're a big part as to why Amazon continues to grow every day. Now let me move my camera off to the side a little bit. Here we go. Let's see. So I was talking about earlier, kind of already gave y'all a little bit rundown of why I started AZR, but this is a little bit more about why I actually started AZR, my partner and I. So like I said, I discovered a successful formula when myself and Reed got together, and after teaching him how to do it, he did $32,000 in his first 20 days. Not many people do that with any business. So once I saw that, I figured out that I could solve those beginner challenges, and I could create strategies to bypass the common beginner mistakes that I made, to streamline that learning process so that you could be able to go do those type of numbers within your first 20 to 30 days. Um, but on top of that, that came with the personalized mentorship. The fact that I was actually able to get on these calls with them face to face, show him everything step by step on the computer that needed to be done. That one on one guidance and providing the support that I wish I had when I started out is all the difference in the world. Um, and then one of the biggest benefits that I was having within this business was being able to travel and work and explore the world while I work and make money. And in my opinion, there's nothing better in life than being able to do that. Being able to travel, live on your own time, and create your own schedule, which is also a challenge at the end of the day, and I really really enjoy that challenge. So be able to replicate that with other people. I've taken trips with my students. I mean, in New York, we had an AZR event. We just went to Colorado this past year. I brought 2 of my students with me, as well as my partner Reed. We were all together on this trip, and being able to you know, have students come into this mentorship and then travel somewheres with me and enjoy time with me because of the information that I've been able to relay and to replicate with them. It's a great feeling to have coming from the mentor side of things. So, all in all, what I'm saying is we really get results with our students. And when I was able to see that these results were real, I was like, okay, yeah, we need to take this up a step because we have a blueprint that actually works. And then last but not least, like I said, community and connection. The connections and the relationships that you build in business are going to be the biggest and the best thing that ever happens to you and your business. Your relationships that you meet and make along the way. Um, the events that you get to go to, the different states, the different countries, um, and the shared learning, because you're going to be able to get wisdom and you're going to be able to learn something from everybody in the community that you are joining. So, yeah, that is a little bit more about why I started AZR University. If you have any questions about AZR University specifically, a little bit more about what we do, feel free to ask, but I'm also about to dive a little bit more into that here. So, let me go ahead, switch my camera down here. Also going to make it a little bigger. All right. So, within AZR University, we have a 10-part training video training module, which is like 45 videos that you can watch, like I was saying earlier, that a lot of these course like mentorships have. But on top of that, we'd also have, like I was talking about, the full access to one-on-one calls where we're going to get on with you at any time that you need, show you step by step on the computer exactly what you need to get done in order to get to that 10K profit a month and beyond. We also have copy and paste templates and scripts, which is just templates and scripts that you're going to be able to send to those wholesalers that we were talking about earlier and suppliers so that you can actually land those business to business accounts. And then we also have a startup supplier list as well as a financial tracking system, which is just going to allow you to track every single penny that is coming in and out of the business, which is one of the most important things that you need to be doing. And then we also have various product research techniques, which is going to allow you to diversify the way that you source. And that is extremely important to stay separated from everybody that just does the same exact thing on Amazon. And then last, on this section, virtual assistants, like I was saying earlier, that's a way to scale. We give you onboarding training with these virtual assistants. So we're going to hop on with you, actually do the interviews with you, set up the interviews, and teach you the system of how you need to actually, find out if these people know what they're talking about or not. Now, let's see. Spotlight brandings, join the program. Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited to get you started. It is a perfect time to get started on the Amazon business because Easter is coming up. It's a perfect, like literally the perfect time to hop in, start sourcing Easter candy, and then take advantage of being able to, get that seasonal rush as soon as possible. But yeah, overall, we will help you supplement your current income with those 1 to 2, 3 hours a day that I was talking about earlier. No previous experience, all from your phone and your computer. And like I said earlier, that's one of the biggest pluses that I've been able to have within my life in the last year and a half is that I've been able to travel to the places that I've always dreamed of traveling, as well as working while I was doing it. So yeah. Now, to go a little bit deeper into those one-on-one calls that I was talking about, we're going to get on weekly and do strategy calls. We're going to get on monthly research calls to review everything that we did in the past month with you. We have a high network community. I'm friends with a lot of 7 and 8 figure sellers who we have come in, do guest calls with the entire group. We also just do regular group calls where everybody can get on, share how they're doing, share ideas, kind of lean on each other, and continue to scale as an entire community and team, because that's really the type of family that we're trying to build. We have that one-on-one strategic planning amongst all of these calls that we do. And then we also have that 30-day Amazon Accelerator checklist. So right when you come in, we're going to give you a checklist that you are going to need to stay accountable on, because if you get this checklist done within a timely manner, you're going to see results within those first 20, 30, 40 days, if not within your first week of selling on Amazon. And then on top of all that, we have live product research and we have a one-on-one product review audit. So what this means is before you even purchase your first product, we are going to review all of that with you. We're going to show you what was good about the product, if it's good, or what's bad about the product if it's bad. And obviously, if it's bad, we're not going to get you to purchase that product. That's the entire point of having a mentor to guide you through the process. Now, how well does this work is probably what you're asking yourself. Now, outside of me just talking about it, here are some actual results from some of myself and some students. So here's a $13,000 month which is 682 units sold. We have a $10,000 week. We've also got Janelle doing $3,200 within his first week of joining us. Adrian did 4K in this month. We've got Coach Andres doing $14,000 in a week, which I mean, like we already said, he did 32,000 his first 14. It's 20 days. Um, we've got Adrian here doing a $1,600 day, which is $655 in net profit, which is what people make in their weekly salary. Their weekly salary. Salaries aren't weekly, but you know what I mean. Their weekly paycheck. Here's Janelle, another update on him. He was at 30K by December, which was only his third month working with us. And then Coach Andrews again here with $33,000 in a month. And then as we get here to the end, I have, a big bonus for you guys. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put my screen up here. But for everybody that is watching this webinar specifically, I have a 120-day money back guarantee for you. And basically that's just stating that, as long as you listen to everything that we tell you, and if you're not making at least $10,000 within that first 120 days, you are going to get your money back, guaranteed. Now, we have a fast action plan for you that will be able to accelerate your startup, which, you can be doing at $33,000 within the first 20 days, just like Reed was doing. And we also have advanced sourcing training modules, which is only going to get deeper and more strategic when it comes to the sourcing, which is how this business revolves around. And then lastly, like I said, we are giving away $1,000 to 3 winners. Now, with that comes the first 3 people to go ahead and sign up and book a call with Coach Reed and actually get on that call and decides to move forward with working with AZR University. You are going to get $1,000. And that is going, like I said, that's going to be the first 3 people to click the link in the description and actually book a call with the team to get started. Now, as we come to the end of this, do we have any more questions, any more concerns, any more thoughts, anything like that? Feel free to put it in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and answer. Outside of that, if you thought this was valuable and informational and you feel like you will be able to, you feel like you're leaving this with knowledge on a newfound income stream that you'll be able to put time into and actually see success with, please drop a bunch of fire emojis for me in the comment section. Go ahead and drop a bunch of fire emojis. I just got a comment from Reed saying he's waiting to see who wins. Again, that is $3,000 in total. It's going to be separated 1,000 to 3 winners, and that's going to be the first 3 people that click the link that was sent in the live chat and books a call to go ahead and get started with the team. I'm going to wait for some of these questions to come through, as well as any comments, concerns, anything like that. Does anybody have anything else for me about this Amazon business? Other than that, so far it's been fun. I'm glad that I was able to come on here and do this. I do see that we're still waiting for those 3 winners to come through and book a call to win that $1,000. I'm gonna go ahead and make my screen a bit bigger here. 1,000 to 3 winners. Absolutely, absolutely. And this will not be the last live webinar that we have. We will throw more. This was, it was very informational. That's the point of me coming on here. I want to give as much free value to the community as I can, because I know that within the online space in general, a lot of people like to what they call gatekeep, and that's not what we're trying to do here. I want to come on, provide as much information and as much value as possible. Um, oh, I see we have two winners so far. We have two winners so far that have won $1,000 each because they decided to go ahead and book a call with the team. We have one spot left to win $1,000. If anybody in here has a family member or a friend that after looking and seeing all this information that they feel like would be really good at this business, or maybe you can partner up with them within this business, it's always good to, have a partner go in with, not just your own capital. If that is the case, feel free to share this link with them. Get them to book a call so that they can get $1,000 going into, starting their business. So yeah, see that we have one spot left. I appreciate all of the fire emojis. So it's definitely a good time. Can't wait for the next one. And I cannot wait to begin working with all of you who are deciding to take that leap and take the step into, their financial future. That's about as simple as I can put it. I have a lot of respect for you that are also, wanting to take that step and reach that next level because I think it's important that, to follow all of the thoughts that we do have as young entrepreneurs. We have to put action behind that. We have to. And with action, it definitely comes about, not gonna lie. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I see that all three spots have been filled up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and open up one more spot, and that's gonna come out to $4,000. $4,000 to four separate winners. Let's get the fourth spot booked up because it looks like everybody else took advantage of that $1,000 off. So let's go ahead and open that spot. Reed should have just enabled that for y'all. Let's go ahead and drop the link again in the chat so that we can, get somebody else another $1,000 to get their business started. I honestly didn't think that y'all would eat that up as quick. So that's great. That's great. I'll give it another 4 or 5 minutes to fill that spot. If anybody wants to have more of a personal conversation with me, get more personal, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, obviously. Hit me up on Instagram at thereal.kd, as well as all of the other social media platforms like TikTok, Twitter. I'm on everything, even Snapchat. And yeah, you can hit me up. Feel free. Like I said, I'm always willing to give free value and have those conversations where I can. I think providing value before, trying to get value from somebody else is always the key to building good and strong relationships. So yeah, let's get that last spot filled up. That is $1,000 to four winners. Remember, we opened up a fourth spot. That's four winners that are going to get $1,000 each to help with their business moving forward. Let's get it. All right. All right. It looks like that fourth spot was filled up. Sounds good. We'll leave it at that. That's $4,000 that was given away to four separate people. I'm extremely excited to get them started with the Amazon business, as well as if you are seeing this and you did not get to get in that spot, do not worry. We will have more spots opening up in the future. Just feel free to continue to look out as we will have a waiting list. Again, we only work with a limited amount of people at a time. Uh, but yeah, that sounds good. Looks like our spots are filled up. Thank you everybody for joining, and I will see y'all on the next webinar.